benefits. Understand what is and what is not covered before receiving services, and always use preferred providers when you can, and use prescription drugs wisely, using generics whenever appropriate. This is Billy Joe Crivello, and it's my job to educate you, the consumer, and provide insurance that is right for your needs. Call me at 805-928-7372.
Good morning, 733. You're tuned to AM 1440 and FM 1063 KUHL. Coming up here in just a bit, we'll check some local news, also California news a little bit later on. But as part of our local news segment, it is time to talk food with our favorite grocery gal, Amy Goldsmith. And Amy's helped to launch and grow some of the most well-known brands that many of us eat, or at least see on the grocery shelves. She's a food industry insider and lives her life as a food finder, looking for the best new products and trends. And you can follow Amy in direct message or any questions through Facebook and also on Instagram at The Grocery Gal. First of all, Amy, welcome back to the show. Let's try that again. Amy, are you there?
Yes, there. This is better. Now
There we
I can
go.
hear you.
I've only worked here more than 20 years and I still can't hit the right button. All right. There we go. We got it all figured out. Well, Amy, we had a couple of listeners call in who had several questions, but I've got a question too. My question is, are there any caffeine drinks that you can recommend that don't have a lot of sugar? I drink a soda, usually in the afternoon for the caffeine, but I know there's a lot of sugar in that. So any suggestions for us?
Yes, I mean, there are many caffeinated drinks without sugar. I mean, we can start with the obvious, which is coffee. And even if you added a packet of sugar into the coffee, that's only 4 grams compared to 40 grams of sugar in the soda that you're drinking. So if you like cold drinks more than hot drinks, try iced coffee. Also, if you don't like the taste of coffee, try a cold brew coffee. You probably see those cans of cold brew coffee all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Even Costco, Kirkland brand has even their old cold brew. So if you don't like coffee, still try the cold brew. It's much lower, almost 68% lower in acidity than hot coffee. So it's smoother because the grounds aren't exposed to high temperatures. So it usually tastes more flavorful and less bitter. And cold brew has more caffeine than a regular cup of coffee. And coffee typically has a little bit more caffeine than a soda. So, you know, you can even save money and you can make your cold brew at home. There are easy recipes on the internet. And also, if you don't want coffee, don't forget about tea. Tea has caffeine in it as well.
Oh, that's true, yeah. So let's say the caller likes the carbonation from the soda. What can you recommend, again, that is low in sugar, has caffeine, and is carbonated? So kind of a mixture of all those.
Right. So if it's the carbonation, there's something called sparkling ice and another drink called Gojai that are sparkling waters with about 70 milligrams of caffeine, and both are sugar-free. Sparkling ice is easily found everywhere, and it's sweetened with sucralose, which is Splenda. So that is not sugar, that's an artificial sweetener. Also, there's Zevia, which is a cola brand that's sweetened with stevia, which is a plant extract. So there's no sugar, but there is caffeine. And Zevia also is in every major grocery store too, and that's Zevia with a Z. Just read the label. They have some flavors that are caffeine-free, Zevia, and some that have caffeine. Also, there's yerba mate that you can get in grocery stores in a bottle and can. Some are sparkling, and there are others that are more like a tea. Yerba mate has more caffeine than tea, but just a slight bit less than coffee, but it's natural. And yerba mate comes from naturally caffeinated leaves from the holy tree that's found deep in the South American Atlantic rainforest. Guayaki yerba mate comes in those yellow cans or yellow bottles, and it's one of the best-known ready-to-drink brands. And they also have it so you can make it at home.
All right, boy, a lot of good choices there. We have Amy Goldsmith, Grocery Gal, with us here, 736 on KUHL. And I know we've discussed it here, but if you don't want the sugar but you want the caffeine, there's always those energy drinks, right?
Correct. But remember, most energy drinks have exponentially more caffeine than a soda. So look for low or no sugar and the correct amount of caffeine that's right for you. I mean, some of these we talked about 400 milligrams of caffeine compared to a cup of coffee with about 80 or 90. So depending on also your dietary restrictions, if you have diabetes, check the sweetener and make sure it's right for you. Red Bull and some other brands come in sugar-free, but again, you want to check that caffeine level. Red Bull has about 80 milligrams of caffeine, so it's minimal compared to other energy drinks. And that's nearly, like I said, equal to coffee.
All right, but again, this is where people need to check those labels, right, and look for that information.
Correct. Absolutely.
All right. So out of curiosity, Amy, which sodas have the most sugar? I think I know, but I want to check with you on this.
Well, what do you think that it is?
Everything that I've heard over the years, everybody says it's Mountain Dew.
Well, that's sort. Yes, it's correct. It's Mellow Yellow. If you remember Mellow Yellow.
Oh.
It's not. It's still around. It's not really a favorite go-to. It's similar to Mountain Dew, and it has 1 more gram of sugar than Mountain Dew. So, for our purposes here, yes, you're correct. Mountain Dew has 46 grams of sugar.
Wow.
When you think about it, that's almost 4 teaspoons of sugar in 12 ounces. Orange Fanta, it has about 44 grams, and then you've got Wild Cherry Pepsi, you've got Coca-Cola, you've got Pepsi, and root beer, by the way. They all have around 41 grams of sugar, give or take. So keep in mind, a woman should have about 25 grams of sugar a day, and a man about 37. So one of those exceeds that amount.
Yeah, I think I told you that I can't even drink Mountain Dew because it makes me sick. I guess it's just so sweet. And then I've had, occasional root beer and that sort of thing. But boy, that is amazing. 46 grams of sugar. Wow.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So some great suggestions there. Another caller asked about snacks for kids. So many of us are, homeschooling children right now. So if they're kind of sending maybe kids to school on a reduced or unique schedule, what are some good snacks, something that'll be healthy for them?
So I can so relate to this. I have 2 full-time students right now at home. So, snacks, it obviously depends on what your child likes, but ideally you want them to reach for healthier items. So I've done a few things in our home. My kids are 11 and 15, so they are a little older. But on the counter, I have out fresh fruit. I have some grapes, some strawberries. I have some great tomatoes out, and I leave out some cut apples and a jar of peanut butter and a knife.
Ah.
And I have small plates out as well, and they can just grab and go. My kids love putting peanut butter on their apples. Also, I have a basket of snacks that includes like low-calorie popcorn, think like a Skinny Pop or whichever brand you like. There's Pirate's Booty, packets of trail mix that I get from Trader Joe's. They're called Trek Mix, and they come in a bag, and inside the bag is about, I think, 8 to 10 single serving. There's sometimes pita chips and pretzels in there. And this is key because in the refrigerator, I have hummus so they can grab pretzels or pita chips with it. In the fridge, I have yogurt, mini carrots, sweet peppers that they can dip into ranch. Also, edamame is great. You can buy it frozen and blanch it, throw that in the fridge they can grab. You just want to make it easy, grab and go. And if you work from home, if they're able to grab and go to snacks, you won't really need to stop and help, if they're old enough.
Right.
My friend's a kindergarten teacher, and she was telling me that she had a student this last spring when they started teaching from home, about 5 or 6 years old, who ate popsicles all day, just one after the other on Zoom. So, obviously I don't really recommend that. I mean, you could always make ice cubes out of juice to keep it fun and interesting, but you just want easy items that you can grab and go.
So now, do you recommend including kids in this process? I think parents can get frustrated, kids pointing to junk food and maybe throwing it in the cart. So as a mom, I mean, what do? Do you involve your kids in this process?
Look, as a parent and a person who obviously loves the grocery store, I have always involved my children, and I really encourage it. If they're old enough, make them a part of selecting all their food, not just their snacks, but vegetables and fruit. And even if you don't like a certain fruit or vegetable and they want to try it, let them. Just buy one and try it and take it home. Also take them to the grocery store and let them pick an item and help them learn to start reading labels. And if you don't like it, you don't think it's the right nutritional value, explain why, and then have them select something else that's similar, that with a better label. I mean, you may be surprised. They may remember someone at school with something that you honestly wouldn't think to pick. That a friend of theirs or someone they were sitting with at the lunch table had at school, and it turns out it's a good product. There's a product that I love called Mr. Cheezos, and it's by a company called Sonoma Creamery, and it's honestly one of my favorites. It's just a cheese crisp.
Okay.
There are other brands like it, but this is made, the one I like, with real Parmesan cheese, organic quinoa, and it's packed with 10 grams of protein. It also comes in cheddar, but I just love the Parmesan. And my kids brought it to school a few years ago. I think I got it at a trade show. And the next thing I know, I'm getting texts from parents asking me about the snack. So don't underestimate them. They have their own opinions, and the power of persuasion is real. Last year, my youngest daughter came home and she was in 4th grade, and she wanted these Gerber yogurt melts. it's baby food. And they dissolve in your mouth, and it's for babies.
Interesting.
But apparently this was a thing at our school. There's vitamins and minerals in it, really no sugar, maybe a gram of protein. I mean, it's nothing. It's a total novelty for a 10-year-old, but, major probably for a baby. But she loved it. It was fun for her. It was, no big deal. And I would have never have thought to grab that for her.
Oh, no.
So, yes, I include the kids.
All right. Well, there you go. Also coming up, we've got the Labor Day weekend. I was telling you that I've got some business up in Parkfield. It's supposed to be like 104 there on Saturday. So you were telling me to keep cool, to drink coconut water. So why coconut water?
Coconut water is naturally hydrating, and there's great electrolytes in it, and vitamins and minerals. And you can buy certain ones that don't. It's just a natural sugar. It's not added sugar. And coconut water is really great for hydrating. Obviously, water. If you need to have Gatorade and you're concerned about the sugar, you can water down the Gatorade as well. So you don't have to drink it straight. Take part of it out, save it, fill the other part with water.
Yeah, good to know.
But coconut water is really, really great for hydration. There's a brand called Harmless coconut water, and it's slightly more expensive, but it's actually the best one on the market. It's organic, it's non-GMO, and it's full of electrolytes naturally.
Fantastic. All right. Also, we got Labor Day coming up, barbecue. So I always remember the thing that you told me, and that's keep the hot foods hot and the cold foods cold over the weekend, right?
Absolutely. You just want to keep it out of the sun. Keep it out of the sun. If you have chilled items like coleslaw and potato salad, try and keep it out of the sun. And if you can put it on blue ice, if it has to be outside, do that. You want to keep it cold. You just don't want any foodborne illnesses.
Yep. And don't be afraid to use that meat thermometer if you're cooking special like chicken or something like that, right?
Absolutely. And you don't want to reuse the platter and the tongs after it's touched raw meat. So you can, obviously wash it between uses. And if you want to put foil down on the platter, then put the raw meat on and then take the foil off, you can put the cooked stuff right back on the platter.
All right. We want everybody safe over the weekend. And what are you doing for Labor Day? You going to hang around the house or what's happening?
I think we may venture down to the beach a little bit, but
good.
we're definitely staying around, staying local.
All right. Well, sounds good. We hope it's going to be a great Labor Day weekend. By the way, you can follow Amy in direct message or any questions through Facebook and also on Instagram at The Grocery Gal. And, of course, we love the phone calls from our listeners about topics to cover in the future. Amy, thank you so much for the good information. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks, Ben. Be well. Stay hydrated.
I will. 745 birthdays and anniversary wishes, 928-1440.
In light of recent events, California Tacos and Tap Room will be open and adding online ordering for delivery or takeout to the Santa Ynez Valley. Head on over to CaliforniaTacos.net. Place your order, pay online, and stay safe.
If yours is a small business and you feel like you're lost in the shuffle, call me, Bridget Navarro, at 805-757-43